Okay, first I'm going to remove the hopper, which is very simple, just by removing the tri-clamp. And the hopper comes off. Make sure you save the gasket. All right. Normally, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the rotary valve before I take it off, because it's always easier to do while the machine's on, while the rotary valve is on the base of the machine. For the first step of disassembling the rotary valve, I got to remove this this pin that secures the turnbuckle to the arm that rotates the rotor. As you can see on this side, you can see there's an E-clip. There's also another one on the back. I'm going to be popping off that E-clip, pushing out the pin to remove the E-clip. Okay, I removed the E-clip. I'm going to be popping off the pin. I'm going to be pushing it off slightly. Then it'll come out. I'm going to get a pair of pliers. And it comes right out. I do not recommend removing the arm from the rotor, because if you do that, then you're going to have to set the sequence, the proper sequence, otherwise the machine will not be filling properly. To disassemble the rotary valve, the valve has two plates on either side. It's only necessary to remove on one side. So as you can see, there's 3 Phillips screws, which I'll be removing. Now we'll be able to pull this out. Most of the times the rotor is gonna be a little bit hard to remove, but you can always go in from the other side and just go ahead and force it out. Once you force it out, you can actually pull out the rotor. All right. If you need to, you could actually use a mallet or something just to push it out. This one came out rather easy. But if you have an O-ring that's stuck in there, you might need to use a little bit of force in order to take it out. But if you notice that the rotary valve has a pin, so it's pretty much easy to center a tool on it while you're pushing it out. All right, now I'm going to remove the rotary valve from the machine. All right, in order to do so, there are 2 Allen bolts that come up from the bottom of the base, and they secure the rotary valve to the bottom of the base. So I'm going to turn the machine over and access those screws. Okay, I already removed the screws. I'm going to turn the machine over and finish removing the rotary valve. Okay, in order to remove the rotary valve, I'm going to remove the nozzle from the machine. Again, just remove this tri-clamp fitting. Comes right off. I'm going to remove the hoses. In case hoses, you push in a little bit, hold the ring out, and they come right off. Now remove this tri-clamp fitting. There's going to have to be some water left in there probably. So. Okay, I'm going to remove now the cylinder from the machine. In most cases, you'll be able to loosen up the clamp and pull the cylinder out. But sometimes the O-rings don't want to give up to loosen up too easily, and they stand stuck. So sometimes I have a technique that I use, and I use the power of the piston filler or the pneumatic piston to actually retract it a little bit. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling out the cylinder a little bit further. I'm going to clamp it down so that it holds it, as well as and keep these air hoses from flapping around when I turn the air on. I'm just connecting them up real quick. All right, once I connect the air, the cylinder, and I reset the machine, the cylinder should go all the way back. As you can see, the piston came out towards the back. At this point, I'm going to leave the piston on, or the air on, connected so that it holds the the piston all the way back. As you can see, it came off. Sometimes it doesn't come off that easily, but if you're working the machine regularly, you're not going to have a problem. And that's pretty much how you tear down the machine. All right, as you can see, the piston's dirty. So right now I'm going to take out the piston. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to get new O-rings, and we'll put it in. As you can see, they're also a little bit on the flat side. So you already know that these O-rings have quite a bit of use on them. And really, the machine shouldn't have been run as much as it did before they gave it to us for regular maintenance. So I'm going to go ahead and disassemble. I'm going to take it to my shop, and I'm going to go ahead and clean everything out, and then I'll reassemble everything back out. I've already taken all the components out, and I have cleaned them out thoroughly. Now I'm going to be reassembling. I've got new O-rings that I'm going to be putting on the piston. I always like to grease them up. I use in our case, we use a commercially available food grade grease, just to make sure that if there is any contamination, there wouldn't be any ill effects for food, for anybody using these machines for food products. And if you lubricate them, it's always tight. The O-rings are always tight a bit easier. I have customers that use, depending on their products, I've used lard that won't contaminate their food products. Then once I have it assembled, I clean off the excess on it. However, I do like to leave some grease in between the two O-rings. This will allow full lubrication on the O-rings to keep the piston from chattering. I'm going to turn on the air. This is going to go back. Now I'm going to... Okay, I've now taken out the piston out a little bit. I'm going to wedge it so that when I push the cylinder in, I'm able to push it past the two O-rings. Now that it's in, I push it back into into the bracket. If it's too tight, going in, sometimes I use a screwdriver and I wedge it between the opening, and it opens up just enough so that the cylinders slide in. Alright, next I'll be putting in, I'm not going to put the gasket in. I pushed the cylinder far enough so I can go ahead and mount the rotary valve frame. I have pushed the cylinder in far enough so I can go ahead and mount the body of the rotary valve onto the frame. The trickiest part is going to be actually securing the screws into the body. I'm going to go ahead and do that. As you can see, I have to go through here and start aligning them up over here. Okay, I've already tightened the body down. Now I'm going to go ahead and reattach the cylinder to the rotary valve assembly. You know, this might take a little getting used to, but it's really not very difficult. Once you get it in, you tighten it up, and that's good to go. When you're securing these, you want to make sure that you have a flat portion towards this arm, because I've had some occasions where I have the pivot point right over where the rod, the actuating rod is going, and sometimes it actually catches the actuator. So for that reason, every time that I reassemble it, I make sure to have as flat as possible surface on this side, so to avoid any problems. All right, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble the rotary valve now. As you can see, this is clean, and I'm going to put in new O-rings. Again, I like to go ahead and lubricate them. It makes going in easier, plus it keeps them a little bit more lubricated to keep them from breaking. Since I haven't taken the flange off, I'm just going to go ahead and slide this one past the first one and then just go in all the way. I'm going to put a little bit more grease on the O-rings just to make sure that they seat properly and that they don't stick or bind, cause them to break again prematurely. As you can see, I've taken the whole rotor assembly. I haven't fooled around with the arm that actuates it. That way I don't have to worry about retiming it or putting it in the proper sequence. When I'm putting it in, I raise this arm up so it doesn't bother. Then it goes in. Then if what's left here is go ahead and put the 3 screws that hold it. Alright, what's left is pretty much putting back the pin for the arm, putting on the E-clip, alright, what's left is just put the nozzle and the hopper back on, and we're done.